In 1992, Sony acquired the rights to Godzilla from the permission of Toho. Sony tr- Sony's offspring company, TriStar, wanted to release a Godzilla movie made in 1994. It was originally going to be made by John DeBont and Terror Rio, and Godzilla's design was going to be made by Stan Winston, the same designer from Jurassic Park. G- Godzilla would look faithful to the Toho Godzillas, but then and they wanted Godzilla to fight a monster called the Griffin, but Toho would want them to have Godzilla fight an from one of their monsters like Mothra and King Ghidorah. However, because I think because the movie was too expensive, it was ultimately canceled, and then Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin were hired to make a new version of their Godzilla movie. And after 1995's Godzilla vs. Destroyer ended, TriStar finally had the opportunity to make their Godzilla movie. And when teasers and trailers came out in late 1997, people like non-fans and Godzilla fans were excited for the movie because it would be the first American adaptation of Godzilla. Lots of merchandises for the movie was released, like Taco Bell toys, uh, Trendmaster toys, and so on. And when the movie was finally released, it did not do well. It was met with such negative reviews, and it was a huge bomb at the box office. And why was this movie negatively received? Well, let's find out. First of all, the characters. Where do we begin? Oh, they're awful. Okay, except for two. Nick Tuktopoulos, played by Matthew Broderick, the same the same person who played as Ferris Bueller in Simba from The Lion King. Tuktopoulos in that movie was annoying. He's an annoying scientist who is so unlikable, and I hate his cringy line like "That's a lot of fish." There's Audrey Timmons. She's an annoying news reporter who wants to be a news reporter because I don't know why she wants to become a news reporter. I don't even care. And then there's her friend. I don't know her friend's name, but she's also forgettable. Um. What's and the um. Uh. Wait. Hold on. And the colonel is also another bad character. He is so terrible. And his acting was so bad. The only two characters that were good or entertaining was Victor Animal or Animal Victor. He was funny. He was the only funny guy in the movie, and the only interesting guy in the movie was Felipe. Yeah, the Frenchman. He was cool. I liked him. He's my favorite character in the whole movie. But other than that, this movie has terrible characters and only two characters that are either entertaining or interesting. But and there were other things that people didn't like about the movie, like how the CGI was so bad and it looked like it came from an asylum movie instead of a big budget Hollywood movie. And the practical and it's a shame because the practical special effects are surprisingly pretty good and are way better than the CGI special effects. And the soundtrack is pretty forgettable, except for the main opening theme and the song at the end. Those were the only two tracks in the soundtrack that I actually liked. But let's go to the biggest sin of the movie. Godzilla himself. Oh my god. Godzilla looks awful in that movie. What the hell? He looks like a mutated velociraptor with only a few minor differences. Oh, and speaking of velociraptor, this Godzilla can lay eggs. Yes, despite being a male, this Godzilla lays eggs. Like, what? He needs a mate he needs a mate so he can have children. But apparently he reproduces asexually. And a lot of the baby Godzilla scenes ripping off stuff from the first Jurassic Park movie. Like seriously, the the baby Godzilla scenes are literally ripping off scenes from the Jurassic Park movie. And also, I forgot to mention about Godzilla's design. He looks nothing like Godzilla. He looks. Oh yeah, I already said that. But let's go to the other stuff. Godzilla is not even durable to missiles. He is. He is vulnerable to missiles. He literally died by two missiles. He literally died to two missiles. And it's because of this. Toho hated this movie and they decided to Toho hated this movie so much they decided to reboot the Godzilla series in 1999 with Godzilla 2000. Then they made a joke about the movie in 2001's GMK, and then they literally had the 1998 Godzilla in Godzilla Final Wars so that the real Godzilla can beat the American Godzilla's ass. And they renamed the monster called Zilla. Yeah, that's a better name for this version of, in parentheses, Godzilla. So yeah. Oh, there's another thing that makes this movie terrible. The fan base of this movie. People think that this version of Zilla is the most real is the only people think that this version of Godzilla is good because it's realistic and and it and it and it's also feels like a living animal instead of a monster. Well, here's the thing. Realism does not fucking matter because this is entertainment. This is not a goddamn documentary. And one of the most poor excuses that G98 fanboys like to give out is, oh, without the 1998 movie, then the Millennium series would have never existed. Well, look at this trivia section for Wikizilla page for Godzilla vs. Destroyer. It says Godzilla vs. Destroyer was originally intended to be the last Japanese Godzilla film until 2005. However, Toho saw an opportunity to produce a new film in the wake of the 1998 widespread negative reaction to TriStar's Pictures' Godzilla, and brought the series out of retirement early with Godzilla 2000 Millennium in 1999. See? See? The Millennium series would have still existed even if the 1998 movie didn't suck. It's hilarious how people are using that stupid excuse to defend this shitty film. Well, is it hear me out. As a Godzilla movie, it is awful. As a monster movie, it is oh no, as a movie itself, it's terrible. As a monster movie, it's disappointing. I don't I don't think it's the so bad, it's so good movie that everyone likes to claim it to be. while while I do admit that this movie did was was pretty much a G fan's first introduction to Godzilla, you have to admit that the end result was still disappointing because the original draft of the movie was so much better. It was so much better because Godzilla looked like Godzilla in that original draft. And he didn't look like a, a giant raptor. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, Roland Emmerich was never a fan of Godzilla. So, yeah. Yeah, Roland Emmerich was not even a fan of Godzilla. So, no wonder why this movie was such a disappointment. I yeah, so you should so for so if people if Toho or Legendary wants to hire a Godzilla director, they should they should not hire a a person. They should not hire a director who is not a G fan because because non fans because director who are not Godzilla fans will ruin the franchise. I mean, yeah, people directors who are G fans can ruin directors who are G fans who are hired to make Godzillas can ruin Godzilla too. Like a certain movie that came out in 2019. But still, non-fans can still destroy a Godzilla movie. Well, is it the worst Godzilla movie? Oh no. There's only 4 films that I think that are worse. Godzilla's Revenge and the anime trilogy. However, this is the worst American monster movie. This is the worst American kaiju movie. So yeah. If you like 1998 Zilla, that's fine. Just just don't go butthurt on me because I didn't like your favorite childhood movie. So yeah. And if you do attack me, I will block you. So so adios.